In the ongoing series of team leadership and development, today we will be talking on group shift. Now, the decision of the group shows the dominant decision-making norms that is developed during the group discussion. Now, whether the shift in the group decisions is towards the greater deliberation or more risk depends upon the dominant pre-discussion norm. The greater episode of the shift towards the risk has generated several explanations for the phenomenon. It has been argued, for instance, that the discussion creates a familiarization between the members, and as they become more comfortable with each other, they also become more bold, confident, and daring. The group decisions free any single individuals from accountability for the group's final choice. Greater the risk can be taken as even if the decision fails, no single individual can be held wholly responsible. So that's a group shift. Now let me tell you about very interesting concepts of different types of decision making which are very important to be discussed. The first and the foremost type of a group decision making is unilateral. A decision made by one person, often the leader, without the consultation with the other group members, and at times it can be appropriate. For example, a minor decision that needs to be made right away, and if it is repeated and inappropriate, this type of decision can carry a very low group commitment. So when you talk about a unilateral type of a group decisions, it is definitely not liked by the overall members of the group, because they always have this kind of a feeling that it is we are there in the group and still our value is not there, and it is the decisions are always taken by only the one person, that is unilaterally. So if the scenario as far as the decision making is concerned is unilateral, it gives a very low group commitment and it is not conducive to the overall development of the group. But sometimes because of certain pressing circumstances and because of certain pressing issues, sometimes it is important to take such decisions, and that too in case of an emergency. But overall that should not be the way of the working of the group. You should involve more and more people, have a democratic setup, and not moving on to an autocratic decision making, that is the unilateral way of a group decision making. So that's a very it gives a very low group commitment overall. Now let me give you the next concept of a type of group decision making, that is a hands clap. As the name suggests, proposed by one and endorsed by the other, so there is a clap. So what does it mean? The decisions made by a single individual, usually the leader, without consulting the rest of the group, without proper discussion or the group thought, one proposes and the other endorses, and the later follows thorough. So this type has a high level of devotion for only the two people in a group who they have created on their own, but not on the rest of the group. So this is not considered as a good one. It is not considered as good. Why? Because out of say a group of say 20 people, only 2 people are leading the group. They are taking the vital decisions and they are doing it very strategically. That is, one proposes and the other endorses. So what about the psyche of the rest of the people? It is not conducive to the overall growth and the development of a particular group. Let me now explain you the third type of a group decision making, that is click. Similar to the hands clap, but with a larger number of the participants. This happens when a small number of the people, they decide what is best for the rest of the group. Repeated click decisions lead to group splintering and the low commitment. And the next type of the group decisions what we talk about is baiting. So it is a technique for reducing the amount of the time spent debating a choice. Only the bold will speak out when someone says, Now we are all agreed, right? And this frequently masks the evident disagreements and reduces the group commitment. So this is a popular method of making a decisions, and it is not suitable time to make a majority rules decisions if the outcome of the secret ballot vote would surprise everyone. So what happens is that a significant portion of the group may feel undervalued and lose the interest in the decision making, and when they lose to the majority vote. So yes, this is called as the rule of majority. The next we have is a consensus, similar to majority rule, but everyone understands that their opinion and the values are taken into account by everyone. So yes, this is a beautiful state of affairs. Thus, there will be no shocks if you vote under the circumstances which may not be perfect. Each person will agree that the decisions taken is fair and workable and one that they can live with and without support. In a particular set of circumstances, any kind would be effective. The first 5 tactics, on the other hand, are very clearly designed to support the group dominant members while also creating the conflict. And if these are the regular procedures of making the organizational choices, morale and the membership commitment may suffer, because it is on an autocratic paradigm and perspective. Whereas if you move in for the consensus and the majority building, it is definitely good for the membership commitment, and there will be less suffering, and people will have a mental delight that yes, they are a part of the organization, and their morale will be boosted and their commitment level will be commendable as far as the working of the group is concerned. Now let us talk about a group consensus approach. Assets, a large sum total of knowledge and the information, a large number of possible solutions to a problem. Acceptance rises as the people participate in problem solving activities. A low quality solution with widespread acceptability may be more effective than a high quality solution with a limited popularity. Better understanding of the decision when everyone is involved, the risk of communication failures are considerably minimized. The members' devotion to a decision is even stronger. Now let us discuss about the liabilities of a group consensus approach. The first and the foremost is your social pressure. Even when the minority viewpoints in a group are accurate, they can have a little influence on the solution adopted. Getting a group to a degree agree is frequently misconstrued with obtaining the correct answers. The next liability is about the individual dominance. The skilled manipulators or the dominant individuals, they might emerge and gain a disproportionate amount of control over the outcomes. Now, let us discuss more about the liabilities of a group consensus approach. The next is your competing secondary goals. People may seek to win an argument at the expense of finding the greatest solution. Taking the risk, people may avoid fully participating in a discussion if they are afraid of not getting their particular way. And the next is your time. It takes time to listen to and evaluate all the point of views in order to arrive at the optimal option. Then definitely there are some factors that can be used as assets or liabilities. So let us talk about some kind of a disagreement. Can either cause resentment among the members or lead to the conflict resolution and as a result to an innovative solution. The individual interest at odds with shared interest and it's possible that more time will be required to reach an agreement. Who has the most clout and is prepared to modify their minds can bolster the cause and resent the power structures while also suffocating the future members' input and cooperation. You should employ the consensus strategy to take the judgments whenever possible after learning about the benefits and the drawbacks of it. Well, that's not exactly how I would have done it. Each group member can say, but I can live with it and support it. So there are some group consensus guidelines which is definitely it has to make a special mention. The first is your effectiveness in communication. It is of a paramount importance in the consensus decision making process. Do listen not only to the words but to the rationale being offered. You should pursue your point and to be persistent if you have a good information. Manage your time effectively and relative to the number of decisions that are being made. Involve all the team members to ensure the use of their knowledge and experience, which is definitely very important to strive for a better answer. You should not be leaving behind any of the members in a group, because otherwise there will be a sense of insecurity, there will be a sense of demotivation in the group. So as far as the group decision consensus guidelines are concerned, we should try and do timely, effective management of the people, involving everyone, taking care of their knowledge, involving their experience, basically to strive yourself for the best answers and make a consensus decision making in the group. Now, thinking in a cause and effect terms will avoid dealing with only with the symptoms. So, you have to argue for the purpose of winning, not for the sake of winning. You might learn anything if you keep an open mind. So, it's not about when you are discussing in the group or moving towards a consensus decision making, your perspective should not be to win as such. Your perspective should be for a constant learning and open your mind and take the decisions, take the viewpoint of the other members of the group, and definitely it is commendable if you keep an open mind, because it is a step forward towards making and grooming as far as the group consensus guidelines and the decision making is concerned. It is going to make the environment very open, and the people will pull out their knowledge and give their best as far as the consensus decision making is concerned. Now, simply to avoid any kind of a disagreement, abandon your conclusion, allow the objective arguments or accurate facts to take a precedence. You should allow the group to become fixated on a single item before moving on and returning later. Assume that someone wins and someone loses when competing. Look for the most cost-effective option. It is not that who is giving what opinion, what discussion guidelines in a group when you are on a discussion mode, or when you are building a decision making in a consensus building scenario. It is about what is the outcome. I mean, out of 10 things which are discussed, if 2 things are looking to be most cost effective option, even if they are stated by somebody, it is immaterial. We should always look for the best, most cost effective options, irrespective of who has given the opinion about it. Voting is an option. So this has the effect of dividing the group into the winners as well as the losers. So the concept of winners and losers itself is a bad omen for the growth and the development of the group. We should always see that what is the best for the organization and what is organizational centric, and which is going to make the organization cost effective and move towards the growth and the development and the profit building for the organization. So we should have an open mind and should not be fixating ourselves and the mindsets towards who's a winner and who's a loser. Now moving on to the position of a leader. This particular method of group decision positions the leader is a unique position requiring him or her to stop contributing, avoid evaluation, and refrain from considering the solutions or the group products. Instead, he or she should focus on the group processes by taking a responsibility for proper communication among the members. The manner in which the decisions are made reflects a group efficacy. The qualities of effective and ineffective groups and the members are as follows. So on the screens you can see the particular chart reflecting the effective groups, the ineffective groups, the compromises, the effective group members and ineffective group members. So let us explain this one by one. So first we will talk about the effective groups. We have to generate more ideas than individuals. We have a high level of participation. We have to develop a climate where the members can be relaxed, open and direct, and they are all task oriented. If you have features like this, we call it as effective groups. Let us now talk on the contrary about what are ineffective groups. Number one is the pool, ignorance and misinformation is the prime feature of an ineffective group. Eject non-conforming members. Force the members to comply or compromise. They are all engaged in a concept called groupthink, which we have already elaborated. Take the actions because they cannot think of any reason not so. So we have discussed about the prime features of effective group and the contrary features of ineffective group. So we can say the features of the ineffective group are actually they have to be controlled, especially the concept of development of the concept of groupthink, where the initiative, creativity, argument and the good decision making power are put at the back seat. And all the members of the group, they are asked to compromise and they are not into any kind of the creativity and steering towards the right decision making, which is definitely a biggest problem for the right functioning of the group. So such groups are called as ineffective groups. Now let us talk about the effective group members. They differ to the members who they are certain have the facts. They form the loyalties to their own groups, and of course they encourage and support other group members also. They mediate the differences in that group. So overall we can say the features of the effective groups are there, that people have an open environment in which they participate, they respect, they are task oriented, they mediate the differences in the group, they respect diversity, they encourage the people to speak, so on and so forth. Whereas on the contrary, if you see the features of an ineffective group, there is a complete development of a group think which is not good. They don't think, they don't comprehend, they don't argue, they just follow the other members and the people who are actually very active in that group. So you try and eject those members, which is definitely a very bad state of affairs. So they give in on items they are sure of, and they oppose or block the decisions without a cause, and they dominate the discussions. So there are few people in which there is a domination of the discussion by few people. Either there are click decisions, or they are hands clap decisions, or they are unilateral decisions. So all the three types of decisions are not welcome in the effective functioning of a group, and they should be stopped at any cost. So we should try and build the team. So let us see what team means. T is together, E is everyone, A is achieves, and M is more. That means if we are together, we achieve more. So this is the concept of the team. Let us now elaborate what the team means. It's a small group of people with a shared leadership who do interdependent tasks and are held accountable, evaluated and rewarded both individually as well as collectively. A team is similar to an automobile, and that is made up of several elements that work together to complete a certain purpose. A team is a collection of the people who gather together for a limited time to accomplish a goal. It is a collection of the people who have come together to achieve a common goal with a particular time frame while maintaining the collective accountability. Now, when you talk about a team's mission, the team mission statement is one for all and all for one. How beautifully this line is weaved and conveys the nuance of the team. The team members not only share the knowledge, but they are also sharing the accountability for the teamwork. The outcome is always the team responsibility, that is the result of the collective efforts of the team members. The members of the team have a mutual understanding with one another. They complement each other and they work together to maximize the strengths and minimize the weaknesses. The most crucial quality of a team is synergy, which means that the group can accomplish far more than the members who can do it alone. So, following are the three fundamental characteristics of a well-functioning team. So, let us have a discussion on this: cohesion, confrontation, and collaboration. For example, a cricket team, a project team, a doctor's team, a management team, and so on. So, it is less me and more we is the concept of a team. We are not talking about individuals, we are talking about a we concept, and it is less about your own self and more about the group members. So, it is less me and more we. So, what are the benefits which you can talk about of a team members? The results have improved and the expenditures have decreased in the firms that have reorganized the workplaces into the cohesive teams. There are substantial cost savings and the quality of the final product has actually improved and has the level of service provided. The employee participation is increased. The absenteeism has also reduced to a substantial extent and the continuity has improved. The conflicts is lessened and it enhances the ingenuity and creativity, improves the organizational adaptability and of course the flexibility. Not only this, what are groups? Two or more people led by a clear leader who each do their own work with individual accountability, evaluation and rewards. The group of people who engage with one another share a similar identity and accept the rights and the obligations as the members. So, the group of people waiting at a same bus stop is an example. Now, what are the roles in a group? It's the task-oriented roles, the roles that ensures that the group tasks are completed. The task-oriented roles are done by the group members to ensure that the group tasks are completed. Then we have the maintenance roles and the individual roles. So, let me explain you what do you mean by maintenance roles. The maintenance roles undertaken by a group member in order to maintain a good relation within the group, and the individual roles are the roles played by the members of a group that are ineffective in keeping the group on the track. So, in this particular slide we can see the team versus the group. So, there is a very thin line of differences and people take it as synonyms, but there is a slight difference between what is a team and what is a group. When you talk about a team, the individuals who have assembled together or having some unifying relationship is called as a team. Whereas if you talk about a group, the persons associated together in a work or a particular activity is called as a group. The members' collective performance determines the result. Whereas if you talk about a group, the members responsible for their own contributions. If you talk about a synergy, synergy arises in the teams, whereas individuals' approach do not produce the synergy. So, for example, a football team is an example of a team, and a choir is the example of a group, which actually clearly states the differences between what do you mean by a team and what do you mean by a particular group. So, the example of a football team explains a team, and an example of a choir group who are singing together signifies the concept of a group. Now, I would be talking about some basis of comparison between a group and a team, and as students and the faculty members, we must have a very clear understanding and the thin line of differences between what group means and what a team means. So, first let us talk about the meaning. A collection of individuals who work together in completing a task is a group. A group of persons having a collective identity joined together to accomplish a goal is a team. As far as the basis of the comparison of the leadership is concerned, only one is a leader and more than one is a leader in a team. And as far as the members are concerned, the groups are, when you talk about the members, they are independent, whereas in a team, they are interdependent. If you talk about the process, we have discussions, decide and delegate in a group, whereas in case of the teams, we discuss, decide and do. So, the other basis of comparison is about the work products. In the group, it is individual, whereas in a team, it is a collective work products. We focus on individual goals in a group, we talk about the team goals in a team. As far as the accountability is concerned, in the group we have individually the accountability, whereas in a team we have either individually or mutually. So, in the last, we can say the conclusion of a team versus a group. A team differs from a group in terms of the quality. A team is extremely important in the life of its members, and the members of a team, as it stimulates them to work creatively, actively and participate in the team duties. And furthermore, a team motivates its members to work with one another to achieve a particular goal.